Coming up next on Good Morning Northwest, our local mass vaccination site got an inspection from a state official yesterday. Hear what they had to say.
Plus, new federal rules on transgender acceptance are taking shape in states across the country. We'll tell you where Washington stands. Good Morning Northwest continues right now.
From Camp KVUE Local News, this is Good Morning Northwest.
Good morning, Northwest. It is February 10th, and Kristen, it is very, very cold.
It is. You know, we have a lot of locations this morning dipping down into the teens, so you will need the hat, the gloves, the scarf, whatever you need to stay warm this morning. But we are expecting the sun to return, so let's get you started first with that live look. This is from the Legend Skycam Network, Richland's Columbia Point. Overall today, one more quiet day. I would call it the calm before the storm, before the snow chances start to build in over the next couple of days. And we will have several rounds of some snow chances here in the 7-day. Temperatures, though, here, look at those numbers. 17 in the Tri-Cities in Connell. Walla Walla this morning are at 23, with 16 in Ellensburg, and then Yakima this morning sitting in at 16. But as you can see, that high pressure system is in place for the Pacific Northwest. We are expecting that sun to stay with us through the majority of the day today. So as you take a look ahead to your forecast, we'll be up to about 34 at lunchtime, 38 degrees by later on this afternoon. Again, an update on the snow chances, when the snow is expected to arrive, how much we could pick up, and what does that weekend look like? I'll have that full forecast. It's coming up.
Thank you, Kristen. Some encouraging numbers from the Benton-Franklin Health District. Just 50 people tested positive for the coronavirus in their latest report. That's a big drop from a month ago when we were seeing more than 100 cases every day. Around 10% of the people in local hospitals right now are there for coronavirus treatment. The Benton County Fairgrounds mass vaccination site was visited by the Washington State Department of Health Secretary yesterday. Dr. Umar Shah has visited mass vaccination sites across the state to assess their progress and see the operations firsthand. Officials say that Dr. Shah was very impressed with the operations and efficiency of the site in Benton County. He even administered the last vaccination of the day himself as a symbol of alliance with local healthcare workers. Oregon Governor Kate Brown announced 10 counties will be able to move out of the extreme coronavirus risk category. You can see in that map, most of the state is still in the extreme risk category, but starting Friday, 9 counties, including the Portland metro area, will move down to high risk. That means restaurants and bars there will be allowed to offer indoor dining, and gyms will start to be allowed to bring more people inside. Morrow County is making an even bigger jump from extreme all the way down to moderate, which allows more people inside at one time. But Umatilla County is still stuck in the extreme risk category because of how fast the virus is still spreading there. 10% of Americans have rolled up their sleeves in the battle against the pandemic. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention reports just over 43 million doses of the COVID vaccine have been administered. That's about 70% of the doses that have been sent to states so far. Officials at the CDC say the U.S. is averaging roughly 1.5 million vaccinations a day. CDC data shows 9.8 million Americans are now completely vaccinated with both shots, and about 33 million have gotten at least one. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is planning a COVID-19 vaccination forum with national, state, and local health officials. The goal of the meeting is to educate leaders on the most effective way to vaccinate Americans. CDC Director Dr. Rochelle Walensky will lead the forum, along with officials from the White House COVID-19 response team and the Federal Emergency Management Agency. It's scheduled to take place February 22nd through the 24th. There's currently a lot of differences in how each state is administering the vaccine and how far along each state is in the process.
New federal rules on transgender acceptance are taking shape in states across the country. It's a result of executive orders by President Biden meant to curb discrimination on the basis of gender and sexual orientation. Washington is one of 16 states already allowing transgender athletes to compete without restrictions or requirements, like hormone therapy. Justin Kesterson with the state's governing body for high school sports says they don't keep track of how many transgender athletes are playing sports. However, there is an appeals process for school districts concerned about unfair advantages.
To date, this has only been brought up a handful of times, and there has not been a student that has been declined through the eligibility process.
But last year, State Representative Brad Klippert took the appeals process a step further, introducing a bill banning transgender girls from competing in certain individual high school sports like track and swimming.
biological males, because of their bone and muscle structure and their lung structure, have a physical advantage over them.
It never made it out of the subcommittee, but Clippert says he's willing to try again with a similar bill if his constituents asks. This brings us to our poll question of the day. Should transgender athletes be allowed to compete without restrictions? Vote now at yaktrinews.com/vote, and we'll have those results at the end of the show. Yakima firefighters got up in an early wake-up call for this fire on West Meade Avenue yesterday. Investigators say the fire started in the garage, then spread to a motorhome and into the house. It killed one of the family's dogs, brought down 2 power lines, and damaged a natural gas line before firefighters were able to put it out. 7 people and 3 dogs were able to get out safely. Investigators are still working to figure out how the fire started. We've learned that FEMA will not be offering federal recovery funding to individual families in Malden. President Biden signed off on a disaster declaration which frees up money for rebuilding government property like the fire station, City Hall, and the post office. But residents who lost their homes or cars in the fire won't be able to get individual help. According to the rejection letter sent to Governor Inslee, it was determined that the impact to the individuals and households from this event was not of such severity and magnitude to warrant the designation of a disaster. Inslee now has 30 days to appeal the decision. In the meantime, Malden residents are still reliant on charities and the Small Business Administration. A restaurant that already has 2 locations in the Tri-Cities area is opening a 3rd in Kennewick. The Chicken Shack, which is already open in West Richland and Pasco, is preparing to move into this building on Kennewick Avenue where Barley's Brew Hub was. The restaurant is known for serving fresh chicken and providing a family-style sit-down service.
We really focus on family. We do serve beer and wine, but our main focus is family and kids and getting together and just having an old-fashioned meal.
They also serve hamburgers, salads, and wraps, but are most known for their chicken tenders. The Kennewick location will have roughly 20 beer taps to choose from as well. Owners hope to open in March. The city of Pasco just approved a $5.8 million bid to renovate Peanuts Park and the Pasco Farmers Market Pavilion. Located just south of Lewis Street, Peanuts Park is a 1-acre plaza connected to the farmers market that's considered a staple by many locals in the region. According to a press release, giving Peanuts Park a facelift has been an important goal of the Pasco City Council for some time now. The bid, which was submitted by a local company, includes the replacement of the 1970s era concrete features of the park, new covers for the farmers market area, and improved infrastructure.
6:05, let's take a quick break here in Good Morning Northwest. But before we do, let's take a live look outside this morning.
And we're getting ready for multiple rounds of snowfall moving in, even as we head into the upcoming weekend. The latest in that forecast, it's on its way.
Plus, Walgreens now teaming up with another company in hopes of expanding their vaccine distribution.
Welcome back to Good Morning Northwest. Walgreens and Uber are teaming up to bring COVID-19 vaccines to underserved communities. Uber says transportation should not be a barrier to health care. Together, the companies will address that, as well as vaccine hesitancy. Over the coming months, they will roll out several initiatives, including free rides to Walgreens stores and off-site vaccine clinics, the ability to pre-schedule rides when a vaccine appointment is made, and a new educational program with the National Urban League to address vaccine hesitancy. The Biden administration might require passengers to receive a negative COVID-19 test before domestic air travel. That's according to Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg, who says the CDC is looking into that option and that data and science will guide any final decision. On Monday, the new CDC director said screening U.S. travelers for COVID-19 could be helpful, but she did not expand on that statement.
President Biden met with a group of CEOs to get their ideas on rebuilding the economy.
We've already lost over 450,000 people. We're going to lose a whole lot more if we don't act decisively and quickly. A lot of people, as I said, a lot of children are going to bed hungry. A lot of families are food insecure. They're in trouble. That's my job.
Even with Democrats prepared to force a relief bill through Congress, we likely won't see another round of stimulus checks until sometime next month. The latest coronavirus relief package under consideration in the House would make health care more affordable for some Americans. The bill from Representative Richard Neal would increase Affordable Care Act subsidies for 2 years. During that same period, it would allow lower costs for middle-class Americans who earn too much to receive financial assistance right now. Under the plan, enrollees wouldn't pay more than 8.5% of their income for health insurance. Those changes would be part of President Biden's relief package, temporarily fulfilling a campaign promise. More than 200 people have now been charged with federal crimes in connection to the riot at the Capitol last month. That comes as the second impeachment of former President Donald Trump is getting underway. Trump is accused of inciting the insurrection, but his attorneys deny his instructions to the crowd to fight weren't meant to be taken literally. Several people charged have said Trump was the reason for their actions. Investigators have used videos and photos from the riot to identify participants, and in many cases, tipsters have also helped them ID people involved. The Senate officially kicked off its second impeachment trial of former President Trump yesterday. It's the first time in history a former president has faced trial after leaving office. The House impeached Trump for inciting the insurrection because of the speech he gave shortly before crowds of people stormed the building as lawmakers were counting electoral votes. The president's lawyer argues the Senate is overstepping their authority.
The Senate lacks jurisdiction to conduct this trial of a former president, a president no longer in office and now a private citizen.
Presidents can't commit grave offenses in their final days and escape any congressional response.
6 Republican senators joined Democrats voting that the trial is constitutional. Washington Senator Patty Murray tweeted this response saying it's, quote, important for the future that people realize words win over force in a democracy. We'll be tracking the impeachment trial, which is expected to last a couple of weeks. If you haven't already, go ahead and download our Cap KVUE News app. It's free and you can sign up to get alerts whenever there's a new development. Just search Cap KVUE in the App Store or on Google Play.
Now, Cap KVUE First Alert Weather with Chief Meteorologist Kristen Walls.
And of course, that app will have the latest on the weather conditions happening in your area as well, as we're going to have a lot of changes moving in over the coming days. We are starting off this morning with some sun that is going to be back across the area. Sunrise time at 7:06, sunset today at 5:16. But take a look at some of our numbers. This is kind of just the start of the coldest area of the season that'll be moving in. We're starting off this morning in the Tri-Cities at 18, 22 right now in Pendleton, 18 in Toppenish, and then 16 degrees over into Yakima. But it is clear and quiet out the door. So again, we're looking at a pretty quiet weather day today. But the snow is expected to still build in on Thursday, and will possibly continue to stay with us as we head into the upcoming weekend. Another system that could be bringing some accumulating snowfall for your day on Saturday. But here's Futurecast again later on this afternoon, enjoying some of that sun, still below average with our temperatures in the upper 30s across the area. And then the leading edge of some of the snow starting to work in early tomorrow morning by 9 a.m. But this is the northern edge of some of that snow. So the majority of the heavier snow will still stay just to our south. There's a look at later on in the afternoon hours. Parts of Connell, Ellensburg, not really picking up a whole lot of snowfall with this system. Still looking at the snow coming down around Pendleton and Hermiston. There's a look at 11 o'clock Thursday, and then seeing a little bit of a break as you head on out the door Friday morning, but still could be seeing some snow-covered roads, which could lead to some slick conditions for that Friday morning commute. But as we get you over to snowfall amounts with this system, generally up to about an inch in the majority of our area in parts of the Columbia Basin, over into the Yakima Valley. Those higher snowfall amounts just to our south. So parts of the foothills of the Blues, 2 to 4 inches. Highest amounts there expected around the Pendleton area, but just that slight shift to the north from that system could bring some of those higher snowfall amounts into portions of the Tri-Cities. So again, we're going to be watching this carefully as we head into the day tomorrow. There's the winter storm alerts with this system. Winter weather advisory from Walla Walla into Pendleton. Winter storm warning in place for the northern Blues, maybe up to a foot of snowfall there. And a similar story through the eastern slopes with a winter storm warning in place. winter storm watch in place for the parts of White Pass as well, included in on that, with some significant snow for some locations there. But the temperature trend overall, we're going to see a pretty big drop in those numbers as we start to get some of the snowfall in here, possibly another system Saturday with some snow, and then late Sunday into Monday as well, looking at another snow chance to build in. As we get you over to that forecast for this afternoon, 37 in Yakima with 36 degrees in Ellensburg. 38 today in the Tri-Cities, into Prosser, Connell today at 36. 36 as well for Walla Walla with mid-30s in Pendleton. So overnight tonight, it should be pretty quiet tonight. So overnight, just a very cold night as those numbers dip down once again into the teens and low 20s. But your 7-day forecast, snow chances not only tomorrow, possibly into Friday, but another snow chance is expected to move in on Saturday, maybe a couple more inches of snowfall expected there. And then for Valentine's Day, late in the day, another snow chance moving in that could last into President's Day on Monday. But you can see our temperatures finally going back up, so 42 there on Tuesday. And then your 7-day forecast for Yakima, just going to be a blustery day for tomorrow. Wind chill values at times into the single digits, even below zero at times. And then on Friday, maybe a lingering snow shower, but a better snow chance once again as we head into the day on Saturday, as we're going to see highs up to 25.
A local entrepreneur is aiming to help minority-owned businesses with a new free virtual program. Sean A. Fitzgerald created Own Your Business, which is a 6-week course dedicated to helping minority-owned businesses in the area keep their shops afloat. She says she was inspired to do so after hearing stories of owners not qualifying for federal funding during the pandemic because they didn't know what paperwork they needed to apply.
Own Your Business was developed to help local business owners apply for the working funds and some of the CARES Acts that they needed to be able to restrain and keep their businesses afloat.
Classes are every Tuesday from 5:30 to 6:30. If you can't attend, Fitzgerald also offers one-on-one coaching and counseling. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is planning a COVID-19 vaccination forum with national, state, and local health officials. The goal of the meeting is to educate leaders on the most effective way to vaccinate Americans. CDC Director Dr. Rochelle Walensky will lead the forum along with officials from the White House COVID response team and the Federal Emergency Management Agency. It's scheduled to take place February 22nd to the 24th. There's currently a lot of differences in how each state is administering the vaccine and how far along each state is in the process. Here locally, the city of Pasco just approved a $5.8 million bid to renovate Peanuts Park and the Pasco Farmers Market Pavilion. Located just south of Lewis Street, Peanuts Park is a 1-acre plaza connected to the Farmers Market. According to a press release, giving Peanuts Park a facelift has been an important goal of the Pasco City Council for some time now. The project includes the replacement of the 1970s era concrete features of the park and a new roof cover for the Farmers Market. 6:25, it is that time of day now to check on our reason to smile.
So I want to introduce you to Winnie. Winnie looks like a cuddle bug, just kind of, you want to snuggle up with her.
Oh, so little. That's a baby.
It is, and the color on her too, just gorgeous.
Lovely.
So thank you to Shannon for submitting this photo. If you have one that you would love to share, your reason to smile, maybe something that gets you up every single morning, just send that over to us. Head over to yaktrinnews.com and we have a photos of the day section that you can click on and submit your photos there.
That's right. Coming up next, Seattle FBI is warning about a new phone scam where imposters spoof their office number to demand money from victims.
And we're getting ready for a round of several rounds of snow chances to move in over the coming days. I'll have the latest in your forecast. It's coming up.
Coming up on Good Morning Northwest, a shootout between police and a suspect in Seattle left one person dead and others injured.
Plus, we have an update on the shooting in Clark County last week.
And we have several rounds of snow chances moving in over the coming days. The latest in your forecast, it's on its way.
From Camp KVUE Local News, this is Good Morning Northwest.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for waking up with us. Kristen, Neil, when I got in the car this morning, I had left a water bottle inside. It was completely iced.
I'm sure it was. Yeah, we have numbers this morning that are down into the teens. A lot of spots this morning just starting off bitterly cold. But we will see some sun returning. So let's get you started this morning. Sunrise expected to take place just after 7 o'clock this morning. I'm calling it the calm before the storm. Several snow chances moving in. So not only tomorrow, but even possibly as we head into the upcoming weekend, we could be looking at additional snowfall. But temperatures early this morning, this is why you want to dress really warm out the door. 18 currently in the Tri-Cities, 23 in Walla Walla, down to 16 in Yakima and Ellensburg. We have a high pressure system that is in place for today. So no snow today, just enjoying some of that sun that'll be with us. 34 degrees at lunchtime. Upper 30s by later on this afternoon. So again, tracking some of the snow that is expected to move in. I'll time out when you can expect it, how much snowfall you can pick up, and what that weekend looks like. It's all coming up.
Thank you, Kristen. New this morning in Seattle, a suspect that seriously wounded 2 others in a shooting was killed by officers that returned fire. It happened last night on Massachusetts Street near the Northwest African American Museum. Police found a suspect around the corner from the parking lot there shooting in their direction. The officers returned fire and killed him. After the shootout, police found 2 other people with multiple gunshot wounds. They were taken to the hospital in life-threatening condition. Officials are launching an investigation into the officer-involved shooting. No police were injured in the shootout. Vancouver police have released the names of 3 Clark County Sheriff's deputies placed on leave after one of them shot a 30-year-old man last week. Deputies were conducting a traffic stop Thursday in Hazel Dell when a deputy shot driver Genoa Donald. Donald, a 30-year-old black man, was taken to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. He remains on life support in an intensive care unit, according to an update on an online crowdfunding page in his name, but doctors have said he isn't expected to make it. The deputies on leave are Sean Boyle, Greg Agar, and Holly Troop, according to the Vancouver Police Department. 3 fallen pilots with the Idaho Army National Guard were honored in a memorial ceremony yesterday afternoon. The men died 1 week ago when their Black Hawk helicopter went down in the Danskin Mountains east of Boise. There were no survivors. They were identified as 43-year-old Jesse Anderson, 39-year-old George Lobin, and 43-year-old Matthew Peltzer. All 3 were married and leave behind children. At the ceremony, friends and family members spoke about the 3 men, praising their bravery.
Jeff Lobin was a father, a husband, son, pilot, friend. He was kind, thoughtful, funny, talented, and driven.
Matt was a great competitor. I couldn't be prouder to have him as my brother. I love him, and I will always miss him.
Idaho Governor Brad Little has ordered that flags be flown at half-staff in honor of the fallen Idaho National Guard members. The cause of the helicopter crash is still under investigation.
Yakima police say the suspect in a drive-by shooting Sunday morning near the Yakima Convention Center had just been released from jail. Police say the 18-year-old man, who had been in jail since the summer of 2019, serving time for second-degree assault until he was released 3 weeks ago. On Sunday, officers arrested him after witnesses say he shot at a man with a sawed-off shotgun.
The subject that got out of the vehicle wound up shooting at the victim. The victim, once he saw that, he fled the area on foot and was able to get away.
Police say the motive is unclear and they don't believe the incident was gang-related. The suspect is facing charges for drive-by shooting and first-degree assault. An intense interaction between a burglar and a Kennewick business manager took place early Tuesday morning. According to the Kennewick Police Department, a man entered Vista Park Storage and hopped over a barbed wire fence, then broke into the car wash next door by breaking a glass door with a rock. When he went back through the storage units, the manager confronted him with a shotgun.
He was cornered. And I walked up on him, I walked around, and he was right there. And of course, I had my shotgun there. And of course, when he saw the shotgun, realizing he had a soft pellet gun, he dropped it on the ground. And I was coarse with him. I said, do not come on my property again.
The manager says he wanted to scare the man so he wouldn't return to the facility. He didn't know about the burglary, so he let the trespasser go. Authorities are reviewing surveillance video in hopes of identifying the suspect. Seattle's FBI branch is warning the Pacific Northwest of a new phone scam in which criminals are identifying themselves as representatives of the FBI. According to a news release, there's been an increase in fraudulent phone calls coming from the main phone number at FBI headquarters in Seattle. Fake callers have allegedly been telling citizens that they're under investigation, scaring ordinary people into giving away their private information. Washington State has been specifically targeted in phone scams as of late. According to research, 358 of these crimes were reported in Washington last year. resulting in $2 million in losses.
6:35, staff members at Brookfield Zoo in Illinois undertook an icy endeavor this week. Take a look. You may be familiar with it. It's called the Frozen Pants Challenge, where people freeze their pants. But, you know, it couldn't be more appropriate as temperatures in the Midwest are frigid right now. They are here, too. On Tuesday, the zoo had the Frozen Pants Challenge become the Frozen Zoo Uniform Challenge, as you can see here, making stops in front of various animal habitats. The frozen clothing paid visits to animals that can tolerate the cold pretty well, including the bison, a polar bear, some camels, llamas, and sea lions. This is hilarious. I love that it just stands up like that.
We'll have to talk to Kristen, see if we can do that. See if I can get out there in my suit, get my suit wet, and then put it outside with a microphone and see if it can stand up there while it's cold outside.
I would love to see that. We will share a picture if that ever happens. Let's take a quick break here. Good morning, Northwest. But before we do, let's take that live look outside.
Now, you know I'm all for some of those challenges, of course, here local. We could try it next couple of days. But we're talking about the bitterly coldest air of the season, along with several snow chances. One of those can impact us over the upcoming weekend as well. Your full forecast that's coming up.
Plus, despite having a disappointing 2020, Boeing is trying to bounce back.
Now, KapKView First Alert Weather with Chief Meteorologist Kristen Walls.
6:44 and happy Wednesday, everybody. As you head on out the door this morning, we're talking about some bitterly cold temperatures. So we are looking at the drop in numbers over the next couple of days. And of course, our snow chances will be going up not only tomorrow, but even looking ahead to the upcoming weekend, even more snow chances. So starting to see a little bit of some daylight out there. Sunrise today at 7:06, but you will want to bundle up. Take a look at some of these numbers right now. Most locations down into the teens. We're at 18 in the Tri-Cities with 23, Walla Walla, 15 right now in Hanford, and then 16 for both Yakima and even up into Ellensburg this morning. We should have a lot of these numbers jumping up into the upper 30s, which is still below average for this time of the year, but it will be nice to have some of that sunshine back. But pretty quiet around the Pacific Northwest very early this morning with a ridge of high pressure in place, but I want to give you a closer look over the coming days with those snow chances that'll start to move in. Again, throughout the day today, just enjoying some of that sun. Very calm out there, but as we head into Thursday morning, those snow chances will start to build in from the south. Tonight, still dry, but even your morning commute, we should be pretty quiet. We're going to see those snow chances moving in by 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning. Still looking at the heaviest snow chances just to our south. Hermiston, Pendleton will have the highest chances for some snowfall throughout the day on Thursday. Notice that cutoff line, mainly from the Tri-Cities and areas to our south. So just a slight shift north with a lot of the snow could bring some of the heavier snow into parts of our area. But right now, Yakima, Ellensburg, even up to Moses Lake, looking at a pretty calm day out there for tomorrow. There's a look at Thursday towards the overnight hours, and then we should be back to some more calm conditions out there for your Friday. But some snowfall amounts. We are expecting the snow to pile up in some locations, generally for the Columbia Basin into the Yakima Valley. Up to an inch of snowfall expected with this Thursday system. Higher snowfall amounts along the foothills of the Blues, especially for the Pendleton area. Could be closer to 4 inches of snowfall as you wake up early on Friday morning. Hermiston close to about 2 to 3 inches. And of course, those higher snowfall amounts as you get into the higher elevations into the northern Blues. Now, because of the accumulating snow here along the foothills there in purple, that is a winter weather advisory that's set to start at noon on Thursday through 10 p.m. on Friday, although I think the majority of the snowfall will be falling throughout our day on Thursday. Winter storm warning in place for the northern Blues into the eastern slopes of the Cascades, and then parts of the Cascades under that winter storm watch, which does include White Pass, looking at some accumulating snowfall. So more snow in the forecast for the mountains, which is good news, of course, if you love to snowboard, if you love to ski, you're going to be seeing some of that fresh powder. But of course, with some of the snow, we're going to see those temperatures drop. Certainly a blustery day tomorrow. We're talking highs in the upper 20s, but once you factor in some of those winds that we will be seeing, those temperatures will feel like numbers into the teens. Still in the 20s over the weekend, and then we'll finally see a little bit of some relief from the cold temperatures next week. Tuesday, we should be up to about 42. So out there for this afternoon, 37 for Yakima with 36 in Ellensburg, 40 today in Hermiston with 38 in the Tri-Cities. And then as we head over into Walla Walla and Pendleton, numbers for you still in the 30s. So tonight it's going to be a quiet night, just bitterly cold, teens, low 20s overnight. But your 7-day forecast, we will not only have snow chances Thursday, possibly into early Friday, but maybe a couple of more inches expected there on Saturday with additional snow chances. And then another chance there Sunday into early Monday for President's Day as those temperatures start to climb up just a little bit. And then your 7-day forecast for Yakima, blustery day for you tomorrow as those winds pick up, 27 Thursday, and then an additional snow chance on Saturday with a high of 25.
Thank you, Kristen. Well, one person has died and 4 others were injured after a shooting at a Minnesota health clinic. Wright County officials say a suspect has been taken into custody. 3 people had to be airlifted to the hospital with critical injuries. 1 person died from those injuries. Another was treated and released. The Alena Health Clinic in Buffalo, Minnesota is about 40 miles northwest of Minneapolis. The suspect was identified as 67-year-old Gregory Ulrich. Police say they believe he acted alone and there's no hunt for accomplices. Coming up, federal investigators are releasing their findings into the helicopter crash that killed Kobe Bryant. ABC's Monaco Sarabdi has the details in today's GMA First Look.